Is Aaron Rodgers a coach killer? That's the title that's being thrown around for our former four-time MVP or Super Bowl champ. Obviously, if you haven't heard by now, Robert Saleh was fired after
Canned. Gone.
unfortunately, after around 4 years or so, went 20-36 as a head coach. I believe it's been rough out there in New York for him, but when you don't have a quarterback for a bulk of those seasons, for a bulk of your stint, it's kind of hard to win football games. But now all the arrows are pointing at Aaron Rodgers. It was his idea to get him out. The reports are saying it was a Woody Johnson decision solely, but what do you think? What should be the title on Aaron, and who's at fault here on why this happened?
I don't think Aaron Rodgers deserves the blame for his head coach getting fired. He was on Pat McAfee today. This is October 9th, Wednesday, October 9th, and he was very much so trying to clear the accusations that he was the reasoning for Robert Saleh's firing. He said, I had nothing to do with it. I don't have as much power as people may think. He was just as shocked as anyone else that he got fired. I think this comes down to, listen, I don't even think Robert Saleh should have been fired in the first place. I don't think he was the problem. I think he was, there was a laundry list of things going wrong in New York right now, right? And Robert Saleh, he's on that list, but it's on the very bottom. Like, you talk about things you need to get done, you need to fix. That's probably towards the bottom. I think making a coaching change should have been one of the last things that they did as far as fixing this team, this organization goes. Now, I do think he deserves some blame. I don't think, because we're hearing all these different reports and stuff, and let's just narrow this down and let's strip away what we think of Aaron Rodgers off the field. All right, let's just focus on Aaron Rodgers on the football field, not as a human being.
Forget about the darkness retreats. Forget the
ayahuasca. Forget all that bullshit. All right, let's just talk about the former four-time MVP, like you mentioned, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl winner, right? When it comes down to it, this guy knows how to play football. He's very good at the game of football. He has a better track record in the regular season than he does in the postseason. You can blame that on organizational faults of them not giving him the right pieces when it comes down to the big games in Green Bay. But that's a conversation for another day. When it comes down to football, he's good at it. He knows how to play it. I don't think he would, if he's saying that he has a great relationship with Robert Saleh. Again, I don't think he was the issue. I don't think if Aaron Rodgers is smart, I don't think he would have viewed him as the issue and seen what's happening in his situation in New York and go, he needs to get out of here. That's the issue. If he's smart, he knows that is not what needs to get done. So that's why I don't necessarily believe that he had a say. I can imagine maybe Woody Johnson gave Rodgers a call and gave him a heads up and goes, hey, this is something we might do. And Rodgers was like, okay, like if that's what you do, that's what you do. I think that's the furthest it goes with his involvement and his say in it. I don't think he really deserves the label of being coach killer. I think the organization as a whole, that's who we need to look at. That's who we need to point fingers to. It needs to start from the top down as far as resolving this issue in New York.
Yeah, no, obviously, like this whole time I've been saying while you've been talking, I agree with you. I think to label someone a coach killer, you have to look at the track record. So
exactly,
That's what I did. He's only had 3 coaches in his 20-year career.
That's a good ratio. That's a good ratio,
right?
Compared to a lot of other players, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and we can name all of them because it was Mike McCarthy to start, Matt LaFleur at the back end of the Green Bay years, and then obviously Robert Saleh. So you have 4 in a 20-year career if you want to count the interim head coach and Jeff Britcom, or however you say that.
Defensive coordinator, right?
Yes, getting the interim tag here. But I can't label someone a coach killer who's only had 3, now going to be 4 coaches. And then do I want to call Drew Brees a coach killer, who also played 20 seasons, had 3 of them as well? Marty Schottenheimer.
It's only fair to label other people that have had similar, same numbers as far as people they've been coached under, to label them the same way that we label Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, Peyton Manning had 5 head coaches in 17 seasons.
I haven't heard. I've never once heard someone call him a coach killer.
You're not going to hear that.
Never. I don't think I will.
So it's very much subjective. Obviously, I also get the rumors that Aaron Rodgers possibly could have had a role to play in this, because at the end of the day, what do we really know as fans, as analysts, as reporters?
There could have been
really
a private conversation between Aaron Rodgers and the owner that we'll never find out about. It was just between those two. We don't know. We don't know.
And that's exactly what I watched the Pat McAfee show too, and heard him say that Woody Johnson did call him, but it wasn't anything that had to do with Robert Saleh's firing. It was just about
what he wanted for lunch.
Well, it was about, is your ankle okay after getting destroyed by my Minnesota Vikings? Pat on the back. Not destroyed, but close game. But he got rolled up.
Shout out to Minnesota.
Either way, it's very much like, hey, this doesn't have anything to do with A-Rod. Now, again, what do I know? It very well could have, whatever. But I think you hit it on the head. Robert Saleh was never really meant to succeed because he never had the right pieces put around.
When was he ever given the chance to succeed?
Never. And when you
could have put anyone else in his position and it would have been the same result.
It's the same
result.
This year was literally, in my mind, his second year of coaching or his first year of coaching because, wow, I finally have a quarterback. Again, I did the math on all this stuff. He's had 6 different starting quarterbacks in 4 years. Well, you can't operate.
What do you expect, man? What do you expect a coach to work with that? You can't. You can't work with that.
That's literally.
And then you have
for down.
And on top of that, you're coaching a team that has such high championship expectations, especially with everything that when it came to getting Aaron Rodgers and giving up what you had to. It's like then you come in this year where you had the year off, not the year off, but you had the injury to Rodgers last year. He was out all last year, and now he comes back. They're 2-3, coach gone.
And that's another thing. What organization in NFL history does well after making a firing mid-season? And I'm seeing reports too. I'm hearing things and I'm reading things on Twitter and reading things online of where, hey, well, Woody Johnson didn't hire Robert Saleh. That was a Joe Douglas hire, the GM hire. Well, if that was the case, if you felt that way for a long time, why not fire him after last year? There's too many question marks about how that situation went down and just how mediocre this franchise has been since, I know for sure, since we've been alive, since probably a lot of the people that are going to watch this video have been alive, that they haven't done anything. I made sure I saved this picture from the stat that I took, actually. So about the Jets since 2000, when Woody Johnson got the team, they have a 43% win percentage, which is 26th in the NFL. They have 6 playoff wins. That's the 10th fewest. 19.3 points per game, which is 31st in the NFL in that span. 197 passing yards per game, 31st as well. And they have 1 division title that came in 2002. This organization has been bad, and they've been recycling head coaches over and over again. And when you finally get a good one, because I do think Robert Saleh was a solid head coach, if the Jets make the playoffs somehow this year, I would assume that they could have did it with Robert Saleh too. If anything, you point the finger at Nathaniel Hackett and how bad this offense has looked and get him out of there, which was the reports again that was what Robert Saleh was going to do. Maybe A-Rod got whipped to that. I was like, no, that's my guy. I want him here. Get rid of Rob. I don't know how that conversation went. We never will know probably, but if you wanted to pick a guy to fire on the coaching staff, that would have been the man because this offense has been very dink and dunk-ish. They're not even using their 2 talented running backs in Breece Hall and Braylon Allen, right? Like it's very much, it's annoying to watch the Jets play football because, man, they have A-Rod and they have Garrett Wilson and Mike Williams is there. Tyler Conklin, like this offense isn't bad. They just need to get the cadence right. But when you don't spend an offseason minicamp with the team like A-Rod didn't, and also don't play in a preseason game, which A-Rod didn't, that's why these offensive woes are a thing. But I put some of that blame on A-Rod and I put some of that blame on Nathaniel Hackett. But Robert Saleh should not have lost his job.
Hey, man, all I have to do is get Davante Adams. It fixes everything.
Oh, my God, no.